Marvel fans, brace yourselves. The latest whispers out of Hollywood suggest that Avengers Doomsday could claim the life of one of the MCU's most beloved heroines. Two credible insiders are doubling down on this shocking claim, and while Marvel is staying silent, the clues we've uncovered might point to a heartbreaking farewell nobody saw coming. Two voices in the Marvel rumor mill are stirring the pot, and they're not the kind you can easily dismiss. First is a veteran scoopster known only as the main middleman, a name that's been floating around Marvel circles since the days of Infinity War and Endgame. His record? Not flawless, but strong enough that when he speaks, the fanbase listens. He's been right about major plot twists before, and his cryptic hints have often lined up with reality months later. Then there's James Mack, a newer player in the leak game who's only been active for about 6 months, but in that time, he's dropped scoop after scoop that's grabbed serious attention. While his track record is still too fresh to be bulletproof, his recent accuracy makes his words worth considering. Here's where it gets interesting. Both of these insiders, independent of one another, are saying the same thing, that Avengers Doomsday will feature the death of a major female character. Not a background role. Not a fan-favorite sidekick. A central figure whose loss would send shockwaves across the MCU. The moment this rumor started gaining traction, the internet did what it always does, it jumped to conclusions. A single GIF posted by one of the insiders showing Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel herself, was all it took for theories to explode. Within hours, timelines were flooded with RIP Captain Marvel posts and speculation that Brie Larson's time in the MCU was coming to an end. But both insiders were quick to put that fire out. It's not Captain Marvel. In fact, they made a point to shut down two of the most obvious guesses right away, not Carol Danvers, and not Scarlet Witch either. That instantly narrowed the field, but it also sent fans scrambling for new theories. Monica Rambeau's name came up, but while she's important, insiders suggested her death wouldn't pack the major punch they're teasing. Ms. Marvel was also ruled out. With good reason. Marvel clearly has long-term plans for Kamala Khan. She's set to be a key player in Young Avengers and possibly even the MCU's X-Men storyline, making her untouchable in the near future. With those names off the table, the question shifted from who could die, to who's left that would matter this much. And that's where things get very interesting. When you strip away the obvious safe characters, the list of contenders gets surprisingly short. Yes, Disney Plus has brought us plenty of female-led projects like She-Hulk and Agatha Harkness, but let's be honest, while those characters have their fan bases, their deaths wouldn't rock the MCU to its core in the way these insiders are hinting at. One of the strongest candidates on paper is Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh has done an incredible job stepping into the Black Widow mantle, and she has the emotional weight and narrative importance to make her loss truly sting. But here's the problem: Marvel has invested too much into her future. She's poised to be a central part of the next wave of Avengers, and killing her off before the Fantastic Four and X-Men fully arrive would be repeating the mistake of losing Natasha too soon. That leaves us with one name that keeps surfacing: Shuri's Black Panther. She's the current Black Panther in the main MCU timeline, has deep ties to Wakanda's political and emotional core, and her death would open the door for T'Challa's son to step into the mantle. From a storytelling perspective, it's the kind of move that would both devastate fans and shift the franchise in a bold new direction. And as we'll see in the clues from the set and storyline, this theory isn't just fan wishful thinking, it might actually be the most logical answer. If Marvel's recent casting announcements and leaked set details are any indication, the stage for this potential tragedy is already being built. Two familiar names stand out: Tenoch Huerta returning as Namor and Winston Duke as M'Baku. Their confirmed involvement suggests Talokan and Wakanda are both going to play major roles in Avengers Doomsday. That alone sets the scene for a large-scale confrontation, possibly rivaling the Wakanda battle from Infinity War. Then there's the leaked photo that sent Reddit and Twitter into overdrive. In it, we see the Thing, John Walker, and Sam Wilson's Falcon aboard what many believe is the Fantastic Four ship, apparently en route back to Earth 828. But the real eyebrow raiser? In the lower right corner, a boot unmistakably styled like the Black Panther's. Fans were quick to connect the dots. If Shuri is on that ship, she's heading straight into the kind of high-stakes situation where survival is far from guaranteed. Combine that with the rumored involvement of both Wakanda and Talokan in the main plot, and you've got a recipe for a brutal, emotionally charged battle. One that could easily serve as the backdrop for the kind of shocking death Marvel's insiders are warning us about. If Marvel really wants Avengers Doomsday to leave a lasting mark, it needs more than flashy battles and multiverse chaos, it needs consequences. Real, irreversible consequences, or at least ones that feel irreversible. Dr. Doom is being positioned as the MCU's next major villain, and if the audience is going to truly fear him, they need to see the cost of crossing him. In Infinity War, the snap shocked audiences because it was sudden, merciless, and unfixable, at least until Endgame came along and reversed it. That undo button is exactly what Marvel needs to avoid this time. Killing a central character, especially one as important as Shuri's Black Panther, would instantly raise the stakes. It would make doom feel dangerous in a way no amount of ominous speeches or world-ending threats could. It's not about spectacle, it's about sending the message that no one is safe. And while comic book fans know that death in the Marvel Universe is rarely permanent, the emotional impact on the audience and the ripple effects within the story can be enormous if handled right. Of course, there's one giant complication to all this no one is safe talk. Marvel has already shown us how easily death can be undone. In Fantastic Four, Franklin Richards, still an infant, managed to resurrect Sue Storm with almost casual ease. If that kind of power is on the board in the MCU, then technically no loss has to be permanent. And that's where the real challenge for Marvel comes in. How do you convince audiences to feel genuine fear and grief if they know a cosmic reset button exists? The answer lies in timing. Even if a character like Shuri were to die in Avengers Doomsday, Marvel could hold off on any resurrection for years, letting that absence be felt across multiple films. This would keep the emotional wound fresh while still leaving the door open for a triumphant return down the line. In other words, the resurrection card might still be in the deck, but it shouldn't be played too soon if Marvel wants this moment to matter. When all the dust settles, one thing is clear: Avengers Doomsday is shaping up to be one of the most dangerous chapters in MCU history. The insiders aren't calling this a big death lightly, they're describing it as a huge, franchise-shaking moment. If Shuri really is the one to fall, it would not only alter the legacy of the Black Panther mantle but also change the political and emotional landscape of Wakanda forever. It would ripple outward, affecting every character connected to her. From the Avengers to the future of the Young Avengers and beyond. But if it's not Shuri? The list of possibilities shrinks fast. The MCU simply doesn't have many female characters right now who check all the boxes: popularity, story significance, and emotional impact. Which makes this mystery even more tantalizing and maybe even a little worrying. In the end, Marvel's silence is only fanning the flames. Whether this death comes at the opening of Doomsday or in its most brutal final act, fans are bracing for heartbreak. The only question is, whose goodbye are we really preparing for? Whatever the truth turns out to be, one thing is certain: Marvel is playing a dangerous game with our emotions. Avengers Doomsday isn't just another step towards Secret Wars, it's a proving ground. A place to remind fans that the MCU can still shock, still hurt, and still make you lean forward in your seat with your heart in your throat. We've seen heroes fall before, but if the insiders are right, this loss could hit harder than anything since Tony Stark's final snap. It won't just be about the death itself, but what it means for the world left behind, the alliances it shatters, the mantles it forces to change hands, and the battles it leaves unfinished. Now the speculation belongs to you. If it's not Captain Marvel, not Scarlet Witch, and maybe not even Shuri, who's the major female death Marvel is preparing us for? Drop your theories, your wild guesses, and even your long-shot hopes. Because until Marvel speaks, the mystery belongs to the fans, and that might be exactly how they want it.